A very happy and good afternoon to all of you. It's wonderful to meet all of you through this webinar. The last few months has been pretty much unprecedented, and we have now realized that this is going to be the new normal. Fortunately or unfortunately, I think we have to live with this, and we have reached a stage that yes, this is how we have to live, and we have to sort of work. This is how we need to sort of to some extent isolate from the social world. At the same time, the home is proven once again that it is the best place for us to stay on. So with that in the context, I think it's time we also understand how can I use Tally so that I can sort of work from home. What is it that I can do in Tally so that it enables me work from home? We all know that WFH has become a very popular word, at least in the last few days. Correct. Earlier we had one why Kattappa killed Bahubali sort of things, whereas today I think WH's working from home has become the order of the day. So today's session we're going to discuss in two parts. The first part, which is the major chunk, is how am I going to look into remote working, and second is how should business owners look in Tally. So I am not covering the business owners in Tally separately, even though I have a small section. What I will do is wherever I'm trying to implement or take you through, practically I'll show you what is the relevant or important fields. So with that as a context, I thought I'll get started. So before we move ahead, let me confirm three things. I hope my voice, video, as well as the screen is clear. If those things are clear.
Voice is clear and we can see the screen. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Great. So these are a few basic checks I think we need to do before we move further. Yeah. So a quick brief about me. I'm Narasimhan Ilangovan, practicing chartered accountant. By passion, I am into technology. I've had a huge interest in technology for various, for various purposes, and I've had a huge passion in terms of learning how we can, use that technology to make our work better. Correct. So that is something which I really like. And over the years, I have figured out that technology is something which we have to adopt. And if we adopt, we learn a lot of things. On the other hand, if we fail to adopt to this technology, I'm afraid we may probably be stuck in the the rabbit hole. So I think we need to learn that and move further. So that's basically a brief about me. I recently authored a book by name Digitizing CA Practice, and I'm also the author of co-author of the ICAI publication on DCMM, Digital Capability Maturity Model, something which many of the CA firms can use it to benchmark their professional practice and the digital adoption. So with this as a brief background, I thought let me quickly go ahead to take you through the subject. Yeah, this is the book which I was talking about, Digitizing CA Practice. If you are in Bangalore or in Karnataka, it is available with Karnataka State Chartered Accountants Association. You can definitely reach out to them. A general disclaimer, I'll be talking about few concepts and a few add-on solutions as well. This is purely in the interest of knowledge. Nothing that me or my organization endorses. Therefore, there's a disclaimer which I think I have to mention. So quickly taking further, I'm going to talk about a few basic things. The last few things depends upon time. I will take it. The first thing which I will look into is what are the challenges which I'm facing if I'm using Tally while working from home. First, so when I use the word working from home, please keep in mind it is not literally working from home. Today we are all working in remote. Even if you have to do an audit, you have to do on remote for various reasons. And you gather the information. Can I do all of these things on a remote basis? How do I sort of fasten the process? So the whole lot of these work from home, even audit from home, etc. We'll try to spend some time on. Second, how do I configure Tally to enable remote access? This is something very critical, especially you as a client. So, or you could be on the position of an auditor, depends, correct? Because I understand the target audience is a variety of people. Many chartered accountants, few of them are in industry, few of them are into practice, a few of them have their own consultancy and various steps. So given this scenario, we need to understand few critical aspects. How and what is crucial is that how do I establish this remote working? At the same time, what are the tips which I have? How can I fasten the process of this remote working, at the same time be compliant with the ICAI standards, regulations, etc. Then of course we have this concept of viewing reports in Tally without Tally. There's something which I really like. Viewing reports in Tally without Tally. Then we have Tally rental, 30 days rental versus 30 days option, just for your information how you can configure. And then using Dropbox or Google Drive for Tally accounting. Okay, so these are a few basic things which I thought I'll take you through. And last, depending upon time, I will touch upon the Tally as a productive, audit tool, productive tips, and as business owners, what you need to do. All those things I will probably touch base depending upon time. Okay, so, and as I said, it is going to be predominantly, hands-on. I will try to show you the screen, what it is, when it is, how it is done, so that you get a fair bit of idea. So for some, theoretical concepts to get started with, what is the challenge if I have to work from home today or work on a remote basis? Most of my data is residing in my office. My staff, some of them are in Bangalore, some of them are outside Bangalore for various reasons, because of this lockdown, they had to go. Hotels were closed, PGs were closed, etc., etc. I'm unable to travel to office. At least if you're in Bangalore, the place where I'm from, there is some bit of relaxations given, at least during the peak morning hours or business hours. Whereas some other states, I understand that there are a lot of restrictions as well. So I have a limitation in traveling. The third thing is I'm unable to communicate with my office staff. It's quite difficult what he is doing, what I'm doing, etc. Then you have the software licenses. I'm not sure whether I have the sufficient licenses. I have one gold license, Tally Gold, which is basically a multi-user version, but it is in my office. How do I use it from my home? That's an interesting challenge. And then you have VPN, certain technologies are there, if cost is involved, etc., etc., those becomes challenge. And last is, how will the client share the data with you? So today we're going to talk about 5 to 10 different methods of all this remote working and how best you can sort of optimize it. So first, let's go the Tally way, or let's go the approach as per Tally in terms of what they have built in, and that's a beautiful feature called remote working. And let's see how that works. So while our entire discussion is going on, please keep your mind on, or please think aloud. There are two parts of the story. One part of the story is the Tally license. The second part of the story is having the data. You need to ensure you have the data. You also need to ensure you have the Tally license. Only if both these things work, you will be able to do the work, whether it may be accounting, taxation, filing, returns, whatever it may be. So the focus over here is how do I configure Tally for the purpose of remote access. So if you have to configure that, please keep in mind, whatever configuration I'm referring to is in the so-called server computer. And what do we normally refer to as server computer? That one computer which is there in our office or home, or preferably office here, that where critical data is stored, and that's where everything is being sort of Tally license is there. If that doesn't work, all the systems in your office doesn't work, that is where the Tally license key is as such installed, etc., etc., whatever nomenclature you can call it. So the remote access capability in Tally ERP9 gives you the benefit to access business data even without you having a physical connectivity, or without you being in office. It can power through internet. This is possible because Tally has a very interesting feature, and that feature is called as .NET framework. I repeat, it's called as a Tally .NET framework. Now, what this .NET framework does is it provides a secure connection. I repeat, it provides a secure connection through a sort of a trusted remote access. So you are providing a connection, at the same time it is trusted, and there is a remote access capability. And what this also does is it does not store any data. Beautiful method is that it doesn't store any data. All that it does is between the so-called server, which is wherever your data is residing, and the client machine, which in this case is not going to be in your office. It could be, let's say, your home, your article staff home, or your intern, or your trainee, or your paid assistant, or your CA, whoever it is, their residence. That and this is getting connected through a secured means. So Tally.NET does not store any data. It uses an encryption protocol, and nobody else outside can work. So to some extent, this itself acts like a virtual private network, what we call it as a VPN. Of course, it can be used only for the purpose of accessing Tally data. So for this, if it has to work, we have the server, which is what I've been referring to as, which is in your home, which is in your office, or maybe it can be in your client location, wherever it is, and that's where the Tally data is. From there, it splits. You have two things. One is the remote user. It could be your own office, your own colleague, whatever it is, or it could be a fellow who's working from home. It really doesn't matter, correct? And that person who's working from home or remote, he may have multiple type of licenses. He may either have a single user, multi-user, educational mode. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I repeat, even if the remote user has an educational version, it doesn't matter. You will be able to work through this method, which I'm going to talk to you now. Okay, so let me give you quickly the live demo before I go into the theoretical, because the rest of the slide is all screenshots only which I've taken. So wherever possible, I thought I'll give you the live demo. Okay. While I'm speaking on the live demo, please understand, I will also make a mention of what is it that as business owners we should be aware of, so that it becomes very pragmatic and practical, even though I have a separate section where I will cover each of those. Okay, so before I move further, I hope you're able to see my screen where I have my Tally license here, or a Tally screen here. And this Tally screen is basically, I've opened one company, simple. Now, the first thing which I need to do is, the moment whenever I have this Tally filers, first thing I need to do is, this is your dashboard and this is your login. Now, you need to log in. I repeat, this is your dashboard and your login. Now, what you need to do is, you need to set up in such a way that I have to create a user under my account. And what is my account? Your account is nothing but what, if I may be permitted to zoom, your account is nothing but what you see in the extreme bottom over here. It is account ID and some TSS expiry. Mine is of course expiring in this week. I mean, it is due for renewal. Okay, so this TSS expiry is something which is very, very critical. Which is this TSS expiry. Now, what is a TSS? TSS is nothing but Tally software subscription. The first and foremost rule for you to use Tally on the remote is, you should compulsory have a valid Tally TSS license. I repeat, you should have a valid Tally TSS license. If you are not having a valid Tally TSS license, the entire concept what I'm going to discuss will not work. So first one, and that is, I think, is at a pretty affordable price, not too expensive. You can visit Tally website, or reach out to the Tally partner. They'll be able to help you. First. Second, open any company file. Okay, just for formality. In this case, I've opened Sri Krishna Traders. The moment I've opened this, what do you do is, you come down and please check whether you have these basic things configured. And after that, scroll up, you will find one option called as Control Center. The Control Center is basically like a navigation panel for you. This is the navigation panel for that account name, whichever is there. In my case, with my Gmail ID. The moment I click on this Control Center, it will quickly take me to this link. Log in as Tally.net user with the username and password. Now, what is the username password you need to enter? You need to enter the same username which is configured over here. You need to enter the same username which is configured over here, which is account ID with whatever. The moment you enter this username, correct? So the moment I enter this, then what happens? I need to enter the password. If you remember the password, please go ahead and enter. If you have forgotten the password, worry not, because most of them generally would have perhaps missed it. Please press F5. You would have automatically you will get an email from the Tally, to reset this Tally. In my case, I remember the password. Let me quickly enter that. The moment this is entered, for some of you this option will come, because I deal with multiple accounts, so it may choose as select an account. Otherwise, it will just appear, this screen will appear. Now, this is that dashboard or the navigation control panel, however you want, you can call it. Now, here there is a whole lot of these models available: licensing, license management, TDL management, job recruitment, employee assessment, whole lot of these options. Under that, what we are going to look into is one option called as user management. I repeat, we are going to look into user management. The moment I open user management, this is the window which will pop up. It will say the level of security, Tally.net ID, Tally.net user, and status. Please note, I am using Tally release 6.6.2, which is the latest as of now. Okay, so how do I check what is my latest? What you can do is always click on this. It will take you whether you are in the latest or not. It will just give you a prompting message. So if you're not in the latest, immediately it will give you an alert. Okay, so you can always go click here, download it, etc. It will take you through the latest release. Coming back, so I am back in this particular screen where I have the security level. I've chosen a standard user. Now in the standard user, I've had some various users. Ignore all this for the time being. I quickly click on an option called as owner. I can choose standard owner or a standard user. The option is one. So I choose owner and I create an account called shika@ken-co.in, and this is my colleague's email ID. You can create your article staff, whoever is your employee, their email ID. Alternatively, if you just want them to have the basic access, please use the word standard user. In this case, I use the word standard user, and I have chosen my colleague's ID, and I say tally.net user access. I say yes. And is this person active? I say yes, active. The moment I do this, it may not be as simple as what you have seen. It may probably take a second, a minute or two. What will happen is immediately one password will go to this particular account, provided this account is getting registered for the first time. If this is getting registered for the subsequent time, automatically that person will be prompted to log in. So what did we do here? We basically created one user under my license. And what is my license? My license is, in simple language, my email ID. Under my license, I have created one user called a standard user with configuration, and I've said tally.net user yes, active, and I've just said accepted. So the moment I say accept, my dear friends, what it will do is it will immediately send a mail to my colleague. Now let us park this part of the story as it is. Where do we have to do this? We did it in the server computer or wherever the critical machine where the data is residing, at the same time where the license actually is being installed. The moment I've done this, I just say accept yes. Now comes to the second part of the story. The second part of the story is, having understood this, what do I do next? I've got a clarity that XYZ user has been added. Now what I'll have to do is I quit this particular screen, just a normal escape. It'll ask you, do you want to log out from the control center? Please choose yes. The moment this is done, you come back to the company screen. Please note, whatever we did now, you need not mandatorily have the name of the company, as in you need not have opened the company. You could have done without opening the company also until now. But whatever I'm going to explain from now, you need to mandatorily have the name of the company opened. Are you clear? So now what we're going to do is, we have chosen a company. Let me repeat this process for simplicity's sake. I choose this company. I enter the username, password. This is the screen. Now you have created a username. For that username, you have to give access to this particular tally file or the tally account. Now how do I do it? The simple procedure. No rocket science here. What we will do is, first go to this option called company info. Please click on company. Under company info, first and foremost, this file should have security features enabled. How do I ensure this file has security features enabled? Once you go to company info, click on alter. The moment you click on alter, the name of the company will pop up. Click on the name of the company. Here you will find in the right hand side an option called security control. Please say yes. The moment you say yes, then you have entering the name of the password, your username and password. Please enter whatever is the username password. Please remember this, otherwise you may have a risk of losing out the data. And then you have an option called tally audit features. This is something which I'll speak about in a while. And disallow opening in educational mode. You can probably allow it because so that your users, anybody else also can actually sort of use that. So disallow opening in educational mode, I've said no. Once it is done, I've just given an accept all. Now your file is ready to be started with working. Now what we do is, the moment this work is done, many a times if you're setting the password for the first time, it will ask you to log in once again. So in that case, enter the username, password. Otherwise, please go ahead with whatever you see here. So in my case, I have Sri Krishna Traders, etc. I just log in. Now I've completed this work. Now this is your step number 2. Once you've completed step number 1, creating a user, step number 2 is you are actually adding a username and password to the tally file. Now what you have done is, your tally file is protected. In other words, you have enabled security features. Now using the same security feature, whatever ID you created at that point in time, you are going to link with this. I repeat, step number 1, you created a profile of your article staff, trainee, employee. Step number 2, you sort of created a I would probably say a password or a security feature enabled for your Tally file. Step number 3 is linking both of this, where you need to assign this particular user with this particular access. So for that, again, what we do, we go to company info, but this time instead of alter, we go to the option called security control. So the moment I click on security control, let's see what happens. I have 3 options which you see over here: users and passwords, types of security, password policy. So these 3, okay, are few basic information which anybody should be aware of. Now, what is users and password? What is the type of security, and what is the password policy? Now let's go to users and password first. Now this is the portal where you can create multiple users for the same Tally file. In other words, multiple people can log in the same file with, with different types of access. I can also hold each of them accountable for various purposes. Now comes a very interesting catch of the situation, or interesting option or opportunity. What is the type of user I need to choose? If you see towards the right, we have various types of user: clerk, data entry, manager, officer, owner. Now these 5 options, or rather, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options, what you see are predetermined and fixed. And they will work only when you are connected within a LAN environment. If I'm working on a remote environment, you need to use these 3: .NET auditor, .NET owner, .NET user. These are 3 things which you have to use. When I have to use these 3, what should be my focus? I should decide depending upon a case by case. If you are giving access to your article staff, trainee, or your colleague employee, you have to decide whether you want to give them the full access, then you can give owner access. If you want to give access only to pass entry but not to modify, delete, you can give the user access. Or if that person is the auditor, you can give the access as auditor. But the only challenge is auditor and owner has similar access. How do I restrict that access? A little later I will explain that. Okay, so in my case, I am giving the Tally auditor access or Tally owner access to myself, and I am giving the Tally.NET auditor access to my colleague. So my colleague, the moment I enter the name, immediately, normally I should enter the password because I'm configuring it for the first time. But what happens over here is this passwords field, the Tally will not ask for it. You know the reason why? Because the password was already sent to the email, or that person is already having an account with Tally.NET credentials. So what we do over here is, here you will find 3 options. The 3 options which you find is browser access, remote access, TDL access. Now browser access is something which is very, very new and unique, and that is something which I really like, and I'll talk about how this has been substantially improvised in the recent days. Okay, then of course we have what is called as the Tally remote access. Now what is the Tally remote access do? This is the access which enables you to access through this Tally portal even if you're sitting elsewhere. In simple language, this is the tool which gives you the work from home access. And then of course is your TDL. That's basically add-ons which can help you to do the task much more quicker. So what we will do here is, we will click on Tally.NET auditor, we'll click on the username, and we'll give one these details. And once this is done, I just end the list. So what are the 3 steps which I did? Step number 1, I created a user under my account ID. Step number 2, I ensured my Tally file has a username and password. Step number 3, I linked, or rather step number 2 was I enabled security for Tally file. Step number 3 is I linked the Tally file with this particular user. Now what will happen? What is your technical thought process? Okay, that means what? Will this remote user have access to this particular system or this particular machine, or will he have access only to the data? So many questions you have in your mind. So what I thought I will do is, I will take you now to another Tally screen, but I will not open the same company. Rather, I will log in with that user. You will get to know this. So let's see how that works. I have another screen here. The moment I click on the screen, it is asking me normally an option for select company. Here, instead of select company, I will choose an option called login as remote users. I repeat, I choose an option called login as remote users. So now this, when I click on login as remote users, yeah, when I click on login as a remote user, immediately what it will do is it will prompt me to enter the remote user credentials. Now, what is the remote user credentials? This is where I enter my colleague's name, which was my user ID, which my colleague got it, and the colleague will have to enter the password which he or she received on the email, if it is done for the first time. If it is done for the subsequent time, whatever password is that, you can enter. If you're doing it for the first time, you have to enter the default password which came on email. Immediately it will prompt you to change the password. So that for security is fairly safe. So I enter the password here. Let's presume whatever I have configured, I enter the password here. The moment this is there, I'm going to the next stage. Now look at this. Here it will tell you that this company is online and this is the serial number, or this is nothing but my ID through which you have been given the access. Now all that I have to do is I just need to click enter, and now the tally file is being accessed over the internet through the original database. And where is that original database? That is nothing but what is residing in your office, correct? Wherever your office or wherever your servers. How do I know that? You can just validate it by looking here, remote user. It gives you all the information. So that's a quick way for you to identify what is the information and how it exactly works. So next comes a very interesting thing which we should be aware of, in terms of once I have done this basic configuration, what is the next step I need to do? Can I pass the data entries? Yes, you can pass it. Can I view balance sheet? Yes, you can do it. Can I view P&L account? Everything, whatever your tally you are doing at home or you are doing in your office, you can actually do in this remote login session. The only thing which you have a limitation is the option of importing of data. Okay, so that alone there is no option, but I would say 90 to 95% of the functions you can sort of execute it over here. So what I do is I want to pass an entry. I quickly go to my accounting voucher. I simply pass an entry. Let us say debit, some AC repair or something. Let's say we have some repair charges. A repair and maintenance, plant or machinery. Let's say I put it some repairs relating, and let's say I put 99999. I just put some random number and credit cash. I understand that the moment I would have said credit cash 9,999 or 99,000, you will say there are provisions of income tax, there are provisions of various laws. Ignore all of those. This is only for learning purpose. So what I will do, just for the sake of our understanding, I will go here and type whatever is my time. In my system, the time is around 3:32. So what I will do is I will quickly go here and type the time. What is the time I will type here? Let us say 3:35, let's presume, PM. And what is the date? May 28, 2020. This is only for your reference to say that this entry gets passed on real time, nothing else, only for your reference. Okay, so I just say repair charges for the period. The moment this is done, I just pass the entry and I'm done with success. Now what is the next step, or what is the next thing? You must be having a question. Where did this entry actually go? Was this entry into my tally or into the remote user system? Do not get so much confused. As I told you, this entire setup works on a remote basis. Using the screen over here, you are logging into the remotely, which is the data which is still sitting on the server computer. So let's quickly jump to the server computer. This is the server computer, correct? Let's go to display accounting ledgers. And what is the ledger we pass the entry for? Repairs. So let's go to repairs machinery. I think repairs machinery passed. Here you go. The entry is here 99999. And just for your reference, you can see here the time at which we passed the entry 3:35 PM, May 28, etc. Please note that this is something which I passed it. It will not come automatically. This is only for you to get an idea. Hey, you know what? What I passed there is basically what appears here, just for your reference. So this is how simple it is for you to configure that. Now comes a few business challenges. Now, what are the business challenges, or what are the user-based challenges? Okay, then I'll quickly jump into how as a business owner you can look into it. So first I want to look into functionality configuration. Then we look into how to business owners can look into it. First, now what are the challenges in this configuration? The challenges under this configuration is the user end and the server end, or the client machine and the server. Both of them should have an active internet connection. First. Second, they should have a reasonable bandwidth, and they say up to about 1 Mbps is what they accepted. Lesser than that, it becomes difficult. Third, the system at the server end should always be on, and the company also should be on. If the company is not on, you cannot do it. Which means, assuming you have 25 companies, all the 25 companies on the server end should be on. Otherwise, you cannot do it. How do I achieve that? Those are all additional tips. I'll speak about it a little later. So these are basic functions and utilities which you should have before you move to the next stage. So I hope all of you are clear until this. Let me go to the next stage. Now, when I want to configure, here you said, if I go back to my screen, sir, this user has got access to everything. Now you do not want to give your entire access to that person. Why? Assuming accidentally he places a delete, your data in the server will get deleted. Correct? So you want to give access only for doing a limited purpose. Correct? So please see this window. This is the remote user details, and see all the access privileges are there with this remote user. Now I will change the access privilege or restrict the access privilege to this person. So what am I going to do? We'll come back to this particular server computer. The moment I come back to the server computer, I'll do Alt F3, which is company info. Go to the security control protocol, and there you have something called as users and passwords. Correct? And then we have type of security. So I choose type of security. Okay, the moment I choose type of security, okay, before that, there are two methods again here possible. Under users or password also, you can do one simple thing. What you can do is, for this user who is my colleague who mentioned, I've given tally.net auditor. Instead, what I will do is, I will give that person tally.net user access. Can you see it here? So I've chosen tally.net user access, and the moment I say yes, I just say accept all. This process is complete. Now I come back to my user's end. Obviously, the user will have to now log out or log in because they might have the visibility. Okay, so I will request the user to log out and log in. How do I log out? Very simple. It's the same thing. Alt F1. Select the company. Now I choose the company once again. Let's see what happens. Can you see the massive difference? Earlier, how many options we had, and now how many options we have? Huge change, correct? The masters itself is disabled. I can only view the entries. In fact, display also balance sheet and P&L is not there. I can only view certain things. I hope you're able to see the massive difference. And this is what is called as access configuration. What you need to do is, I'm going now back to my server system where I had types of users or types of security. Under that, if I choose tally.net user, the moment I click that, it says give all the basic facilities of data entry. Now, who is the data entry guy? Let's go to data entry first. Let's see what is access. Yes. Data entry guy, this is a basic configuration in Tally. You need not do anything. It says that security field is data entry. You can map it with somebody else. In this case, not required. Here, it clearly says disallow the following activities, and they use the word full access. Now, what are the other alternatives instead of full access? What are the other types you can do? These are the other types. You can give alter access, you can create access, you can create or alter, you can give display access, display print, full preview. So all these things are possible, my dear friends. Now let's give an example. I want to give them only display access of, let us say, balance sheet. Okay, or I want only of balance sheet because this person works only with the balance sheet. I've given accept all. Okay, so let's see what more is there. Okay, so I've given this. Okay, now I've enabled the access. So this user, what should be he or she having the access? He or she should be now having the access only to view the balance sheet. So what do I do now? I come back here, correct? Of course, I need to exit from this. I've given the impact of that. What do I do? Again, Alt F1, select the company, choose that company. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I think balance sheet access was supposed to come. I think there's been some issue. Let me see whether that impact has come. Okay, I think it's not come here. Okay, I think there has been some trouble here. Okay, nevertheless. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just realized here the access is full access, right? I just need to give display access. Okay, after this, it will be complete. So I just click on end of list. Again, end of list. So this is now accepted, and now the user should have that type of an access. Hopefully it will work. Otherwise, there might have been some area which I've missed out, perhaps. Okay, it looks like I've missed out something. Nevertheless, so there looks like there's some challenge there. Nevertheless, okay. Now coming back. So that's basically what I wanted to mention on the type of security. So you can also configure the type of security. Forget that this is too complicated for me. Can I do it in a simpler method? Yes, you can do it. What you do is go to the Tally.net user, and here you have the access. What feature you want to give, what feature you don't want to give. So many times what happens, you have a fear that if I give it a remote access to my article staff, he does something, my entire data might go wrong. Correct? You can decide what is the type of access I can restrict. Okay, so that's something on the access restriction which I thought I should share it with you. A very powerful function indeed. Now let me go back to this particular user, and I will give this person the access of Tally.net auditor. Okay, so these are the basic functions for you to set up on a remote basis. Okay, so the moment you are set up on a remote basis, my dear friends, now you need to get started saying what is the next work which I do. Now this is where business owners will have to come into picture. Now you have given the access, no doubt you can do accounting, but what is the key business indicators I have to look into it, correct? So you may have to look into stock, you may have to look into inventory, you may have to look into your ratios, correct? So all those things are possible. But then comes a very interesting challenge. Business owners may or may not have the easy understandability of Tally. Some of them have learned it, some of them may find it difficult. Or you yourself are a professional, you find it difficult to carry Tally every time with you. So is there something which, by a click of a button or by going to a browser, can I get that? Yes, that is possible. That is the latest release which Tally has come up with, and that is Tally release 6.6. So what I need to do is I quickly go to a browser. The moment I go to a browser, I type tallysolutions.com. The moment I go to tallysolutions.com, go to this extreme right corner, you will find login option. Okay, you will find an option for logging in. So I click on login. I have this username which I just enter. In my case, my colleague's username. The moment I enter and I log in, let's see what happens. Can you see the name of the company is appearing here? This is what Tally has recently come up with, and it's a beautiful feature. All that you need to do is double click this particular company. It obviously says it's connected, so I click on this company. I have this option called reports, and this reports, it will take me through, I think it's taking a minute to refresh. Now this, it will take me through the control center or the original source where these reports are, and I can view all of these reports, my dear friend, over here by simply sitting on my browser. Okay, so that's the feature which Tally has brought in. I think the reports are loading. Let me try this once again. Okay, it looks like I have the data is here. Let's see what the security settings is. Security settings, type of security, users and password. I've given this person the Tally auditor access, and what is the type of access which Tally auditor has? He has access of one. And what is the owner having access? Owner has access to everything. So I think technically it should be working. Maybe sometimes because of connectivity, internet, sometimes it may probably create that trouble. Okay, let me see if the configuration something has gone wrong. I go to user management and I've given it a standard user. I just make it as owner just for simplicity's sake. And okay, let me log in once again. Log out from the screen and let's log in once again. The moment I've done this, okay, I think there's been some connectivity issue from my end. I think my internet is working fine, but okay, there seems to be some connectivity issue. But what I'll do is I have a few screenshots to show you how that looks like. So just a quick recap. So prerequisites for remote using: check the Tally software TSS validity, ensure you have upgraded to release 6.6. Then please visit the control center. Visit your, go to your tally.net user ID to know what your tally.net user ID is. Click on that, go down, you will be able to identify. Then go to user management and please click on standard user, and from standard user please enter the username password, or you can enter the owner depending on what type of access you want to give. And what is it that you need to do? Go to security control, users and passwords, choose what type of access you want to enable this person. So here, remote access, allow file sharing, SMS, these were the three options which are appearing earlier. Now I think it says, do you want browser view? You just should say yes. So the moment this is another window to say what are the access restrictions I can sort of give to the user. This is what I said, viewing Tally reports online. You log in, and the moment you log in, their list of reports would appear over here. So let me see once again if this is actually activated or it's working, etc. There seems to be some trouble or connectivity. Okay, no problem. So I think it's taking a little longer. Okay, so this is how those reports will appear. The screenshots which you see over here, you can choose which report what, and the beauty of this is you can also download it. So those of you are having Tally release 6 or 6.1, or rather Tally release 6, you can only view the reports and download as PDF. Tally release 6.1 and 6.2 has enabled a feature to download this even in an Excel spreadsheet. So that's an added advantage. Okay, so those are a few things which you should, as business owners, you should be aware of, and you should get a sort of an idea, so that we are in a reasonably better off position that if you have to take a decision, yes, I can take a decision based on this. Okay, now what if this option does not work? My article staff or my trainee or my employee does not having active internet connection, regular issues, etc., etc. Now in this case, I jump into another model which is called Tally rental. Now, what happens in a Tally rental is you buy a rental license with Tally. Of course, Tally has also come up with an interesting option called Tally 30-day free trial. One can exercise that and use it. Run your business based upon that. Correct. So you can run your business digitally with it. That's a free 30-day license. So what you can do is, using this particular license for 30 days, at least you will be able to copy the data, do all the working, and send it back to the server. Somebody can validate it. That's one possibility. Alternatively, what you can do is you can go for this rental license. So rental license are of two types, silver and gold. Now silver is basically for a single user license, gold is a multi-user license. But please keep in mind, this multi-user should work on a LAN environment. So you should probably go for multiple silver licenses. If you're having internet connectivity issues, this is an alternative option which you can consider. Okay. Now for the same remote working, there is also an interesting feature, and that is called using Tally on Google Drive. I repeat, using Tally on Google Drive. So how this works is it's a little different. Now for this, what you need to do, my dear friends, you need to configure Tally in a slightly different manner. Let's see how that works. Just give me a minute. So how does this work? So let's quickly, let me jump to my drive.google.com, which most of you are aware, the basic Google Drive, correct? So the moment this is set up, I have the option on my left hand side, which is my drive, correct? So in my drive, let's say I have my company's name, Ken & Co. So I click on this. The moment I click on this, it takes me to the folder. I have created one folder called Tally Remote, Tally Testing. So what I did was, I created this dummy folder called Tally Test. Now inside this dummy folder, or for the sake of just showing it to you, but what you can do is inside that Tally Test folder, you can actually create a folder and push your data. Now what is the data we are referring to? If you go to tally.erp9/data, you have 10000, 10001, 10002. That is basically the data which I'm referring to. So what you can do is you can push this tally data into that particular folder. The moment you have done, my dear friends, what you can now do is, I have installed Tally on desktop. Sorry, I've installed Google Drive on desktop. How do I do it? Very simple. Just go do a Google search. It'll give you Google Drive on desktop. You get the link. You can just download it. Okay, so go to Drive. You just have an option here. You can just download, or you can type it as Google for Windows or whatever. What it will do is, you will get one small icon like this in the bottom corner. Okay, I think I'll activate that, so you'll probably get it. It will be called a sync and backup. Can you find this option? Backup and sync from Google. The moment this icon gets activated, it will ask you where to install, etc. Finish all the formalities. Then you can choose the folder which you want to synchronize. This is a wonderful method through which you can do a backup. Now, once this is done and synchronization is over, a folder like this will open. It will give me a message, see backup and sync is already running. So I just close this. Now I go to this folder called Ken & Co. And here I obviously found a folder called Tally Test. Now what I will do is, I will copy this as my data path for the company. So wherever I have my company, let us presume I have my company here. Let me change it. I'm creating a new company. I'm creating a new company, and this is going to be my Tally data path. So what will I do? I'll just say create company, click on this, go here, pay special. What is the name? I will say Tally Test May 2020. And I can go ahead and choose all of this. Once I've set it up, my Tally file is ready. Now, the moment I have kept this ready, my dear friends, Tally file set up, all that I have to do is Alt Tab, go to the screen. Can you find this icon 10003? And it says with today's date, 28th May 2020, 3:52 p.m. Just a minute back or in a second back, this file has been created. Now, this file, you need to, or this folder, what you need to do is, you need to go to your Google Drive, right click that Google Drive and give the access to your friend or your colleague. So what do we do here? Let's see if this is working. So I go to my drive. In my drive, I have an option called Ken & Co. So let me click on Ken & Co. Okay, under Ken & Co, there is an option called Tally. Okay, so it is taking me through that. Can you find this folder 1003 appearing? Now, if you go open this folder and see, nothing your system will be able to read and understand. Why? Because you'll have all the traditional way in which Tally stores the data, .900 format. You will not be able to understand how that works, correct? But what you should do is, this Tally test folder, whatever is there, right click this Tally test folder or click on that. Here you get an option called share. Now what you need to do is share it with the person to whomever you want to give the access. Now a small window will appear. You will have to just type the person's name. That person, he or she, will get the access. So what do? Tally test. I just click on share. That person will get it. Alternatively, you can just click on get shareable link. A link will get generated. You can share that link with that person. But preferably click on share. The moment you click on share, Now that person will get one alert or an email. Hey, you know what? Your colleague or your Mr. A has shared this folder with you. Now what you will do on the other end, you have to repeat the same process. What is the same process? The other end, the person has to download the Google Drive. He has to install Google Drive on desktop, log in, choose this particular folder, and all that he has to do is go to Tally once again, choose this particular select company, choose the name of the test file, and have Tally test me, and the data is ready for that he or she to access. Please note, what is the advantage of this method? The advantage of this method is your data is going to reside on the cloud, and you or your friend or whoever it is, they can access it. And I would not say that parallelly both of you can pass entries. There will normally be some amount of time delay. That is not because of Tally, that's because of the way Google Drive works. The moment you save something in Google Drive, it's not that immediately you'll get an impact. Let's give an example. Can you see this here? 1003. This folder is created, shared, online, etc. Let me now pass an entry for this. Okay, let us say create a new, let's say expense or repairs, indirect expense. The moment I do this, let's presume 1,000 rupees, credit cash. It says negative cash. Okay, no problem. First entry. The moment you do this, my dear friends, now you have passed an entry. That means you have triggered the data. So let's see what happens over here. Can you find this icon over here? That icon, it comes with two up arrow and a down arrow bar. Now this is the time lag which I would say will be there between you and that particular system. Now can you see it became a tick mark? Now the moment this becomes a tick mark, my dear friend, this means it will be updated over here. When it is updated over here, your friend will have to sort of indirectly download it. That transaction happens on real time. So literally or technically speaking, it is not a huge amount of gap difference, but definitely you can't do a real time. Let's say I pass the entry, immediately after I pass the entry, if you want your friend to see it, it may not be possible. Whereas if you're using Tally Remote, it is possible. Okay, so Tally. So this is just a alternate way. We can call it as the Jugaad way of accessing Tally, a different approach. It has its own limitations, advantages. Limitation advantages is that the data is shared in one place. All of you are having access, client, your CA, etc. Disadvantages, both the ends you need to have a valid Tally license. If you don't have a valid Tally license, both the end it will not work. So that's something which I thought I should notify. The next part of the cake which you should also be aware, will this work only with Google Drive? No, it also works with Dropbox, it also works with OneDrive, but generally OneDrive has some bit of a slightly more time lag compared to that of a Google Drive and Dropbox. Having said that, time lag is definitely going to be there. The way you should look at this, now see, today we are talking about lockdown. Now we are talking about only effectively, 7 to 7 people can work. But being pragmatic, and you can't work, you have to maintain social distancing, etc. Why don't you come up with a setup where first half of the day, from morning 7 to maybe 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, whoever your colleague is, let them work from home, no problem, but let them work by using this method. This method meaning either remote working or through Google Drive. The next part of the shift, another colleague comes, they do the work. The next part of it. So this way what happens, even though the data is residing in the same place or it is residing in the Google Drive, not everybody are accessing at the same time. You are sort of optimizing the resources. So these are basically a few tips which I thought I should share with you when we speak about how you need to have work from home. Okay, so this is Tally on Google Drive. Okay, so on that note, we come to the end of the basic things which as a remote worker any person should be aware of. Now coming to certain important things or certain unique alternative ideas. Now this is a unique solution which I came across recently, and this is developed by another company. It is Tally on the cloud. There are 100 such vendors. I just picked up one person because I just came across this recently. Now what happens is, this is how Tally works on the cloud. Now what happens is Tally work on the cloud means a cloud is a portal where anybody can have access at any given point of time from anywhere. It basically works on the internet. We call it as a shared database. Now here, what happens is I have created a workspace which is called workspace.accops.cloud, a separate website, a secure portal. Now, the moment I've created this secure portal, in this portal, or in this space,
Sorry to interrupt. I think we have before we start a new section, could we address the number of questions? So in the question box, we can see quite a number of questions are posted.
Sure. So can I just take 2 minutes? I will finish off this particular concept. It's
sure.
And
so
then
we'll
I'll
do that.
next. Thank you. Thank you for bringing it to my notice. Yeah, sorry friends, I'll just finish this part and I'll take your question. So this is what I was trying to help you through. This is a portal where I've logged in, and this is a cloud-based setup. And what do I do in this cloud-based setup is, the moment I log in, Tally is actually being hosted in this particular cloud. I repeat, Tally is hosted in this particular cloud. The moment Tally is hosted in this cloud, I enter the username and password, and there is also a two-factor authentication. The two-factor authentication, I have a username and password. So there is an SMS token or something which comes, and that token, an OTP will go to the registered number. So here we have chosen SMS token. The moment I choose SMS token, I have the SMS would go to that particular number. From there, I will enter the OTP. The moment I enter the OTP, I would be given the access to the cloud portal. This cloud portal is a dedicated cloud portal only for my office or my team. You can decide the way you want it. Okay, so the moment you do this, now you're signing in. So this is the second step. Once you have signed in, now please note all this is working on a browser. You don't require Tally at all. Tally is loaded onto the cloud, so therefore you're able to. So I have this Tally ERP there. I double click this. The moment I click on Tally ERP, now what happens? The Tally window opens through the browser, and inside the browser, it will look as though you're working on Tally. So you're logging in. Here there is one particular user, Rajesh Kumar, which is appearing there. The moment this is done, we are now logging into Tally. Once this logging in is complete, Tally will open up based on the type of license we have. Since this is a test which I'm just trying to show you, it may have a demo license or whatever, but it will just open up with this particular thing. Let's see how it looks like. This is the screen where it takes me through Tally. The moment this is over, it will give me through what exactly is the username and credentials. So you can find your type of account, etc. Here in this case, since it's just a remote user, just for a trial basis, we can just click on login as remote user and access, or you can access educational mode, whatever. Or if you have the licensed version onto the server, then you can access it. So this another unique solution. This is a company which sort of came up with this. There are multiple players. You can just probably do some bit of Google search. They'll be able to do that. So a few Tally remote few FAQs are there. I will take these FAQs, or I myself have written a few questions and I have given the answers for that. So many of the question and answers will be solved, but I will address them and then I'll go into those specific questions. First, how many such remote users can you create? So if you are using a single user license, I repeat, if you're using a single user license, you can have only one Tally.net user. If you're having a multi-user license, up to 10 Tally.net users is possible. If you're using a Tally server, close to about 50 concurrent users are possible. What is the minimum bandwidth required? Minimum 1 Mbps, I think I mentioned this. What are the overall access restrictions? So I need to have data. Tally.net user will only have data entry access, whereas Tally.net owner will have all the access restrictions and additions and modifications of the administrator, except altering the company. So these are additional features .NET users will have. Next, should the Tally always be on the server end? Yes, it has to always be on. You don't have an option. Next comes an interesting question. Can I set up Tally on a virtual private network? So as per Tally, it is possible, but it is not recommended. Okay. Now, what happens to TDL if I'm using Tally on remote? Will it work? It will 100% work as long as you are given the access called as allow TDL access. Do I have to migrate any Tally data required if I have to use it to 6.6? Not required. But however, if you're using remote, highly recommended you take one version of backup. This is something which many of the users been consistently asking me in the recent past. I log into Tally Remote, but I get the message that the company is offline. If you get the message company is offline, these are the steps you need to do. First, take the backup. This is only for the safety purpose. Check your internet connection is available. Once it is done, open your Tally, select the required company, in my case, Sri Krishna Traders, whatever. Under the company info, gateway of Tally screen, please click on F12. There is an option called advanced configuration. Under the advanced configuration, there is something called as connection configuration. Enable the option connect to tally.net server using the non-HTTP port and use the absolute URL for HTTP. So if you enable these both, you will be able to work. So this is just a sort of a steps through which you can sort of debug it on your phone. Okay, so that's basically the crux which I wanted to take you through, and over to the organizer. If there's any questions, we can definitely start looking. Okay, before I forget, this is basically the report. This is the view which I told you. See, the company is offline, it doesn't appear here. So again, I'll have to choose the company, only then it will appear. So let's try that. So I think this was my test company. Let me quickly check the access restrictions. Okay, it is enabled. Let's go to security control user. They have given this user auditor access, browser access, yes. Now let's check the type of access this person is having. This person is having the access of that owner. Very good. So technically, the system also is connected. Okay, before I forget, you should ensure that the Tally file is connected. If it is connected, it will appear with a C icon. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Is this browser report appearing? It says connected. This is the one. So probably I'll just take a minute to clarify this. I think there was some connectivity issue. Now that the browser it is clear, I can go view the balance sheet, and this is something for business owners also. It makes a lot of sense for you. We can look into it. I'll speak about a few of these ratios, etc., so that you get an idea. If I click on balance sheet, your entire balance sheet is available. Okay. The beauty of this is you can change the period, or you can sort of download it as well. So let me just download this, and this download option is in Excel as well as PDF. If you have release 6.1, I think earlier they had this only PDF, or release 6 had only PDF. They upgraded later to even Excel. So even in Excel you can download and you can do it. So those of you who wants to do remote auditing, your client feels that I cannot give you the data, it is very confidential, I can normally you come to my office and audit. This is the best method for you. So every report, whatever you want, only thing the client has to ensure is the system on the other end has to be on. That's all you have to do. Okay, and if the system is not on, there are a few tips which is there. I can teach you about that also. How do you get it switched on, etc. Those are the challenges. I'll give you an example of a few of these tools as well. So I want to go to what is my provisions, and under my provisions, go through audit fee payable or ledger, which will always have fees outstanding. Okay. I can go and see this. Okay, you remember we passed one entry sometime back. We passed one repairs and maintenance entry, right? Let's see that repairs and maintenance entry where it is. Let me go to profit and loss account. Under that, I have repairs. I need to scroll down. Only few limitations is that your shortcuts may not work here. So you may have to use the traditional approach and navigate it. So let me see, where is this repairs? Or I can always go to the ledger book and also try to identify. Or I think I passed the entry as cash, right? So I can always go to cash book. Okay, so let me go to cash. And I think I passed it on 31st of March. So scroll down. After 31st of March, all my entries are appearing here. Correct? I have this repairs and maintenance. Can you see this entry? This is what we passed it. I can download this. It's also, download this as a voucher, or I want to download this entire sheet of thing. I can do it. I can also change the period. Let's say my cash ledger I want for entire period of 2012. I can just say show, entire thing will appear and download it. So this is the beauty of this Tally Release 6.6, wonderful initiative which they have taken up. Of course, one limitation is your statutory reports, you cannot do it, and your data entry is not possible. Otherwise, every other feature which we have been discussing of is available. Okay, so these are basically remote related questions. Before I move into business owners, etc., I'm now open for Q&A. So how do we go about with the question and answers? Okay, I think I have an icon where I can see. Wonderful. Okay, so I think few were just basic questions that PPT is not being shown, etc. I hope that is rectified now. Okay, by the way, can you see? I'm sure you are able to see the cash book now. Correct? Exactly how it is exporting from Tally, the same way you have to. Okay, do I require to do all the steps to select users for every company? Yeah. Vikas is asking this question because unfortunately, for every user who is joining in, you will have to do this. I repeat, every user who's joining in, you will have to do this. So that is something which is a limitation, I would say. But for every user, every company, every user, you'll have to do this. Okay, the next question is F11 TSS features. You're right, Mr. Shankar, you're absolutely right. Can the entries be made simultaneously by owner and remote user? Please clarify, Shivakumar Handa. It is possible, sir. You can do it here and they can do it there. There'll definitely be a synchronization issue in terms of time or etc. So those things would be there. Otherwise, I think it's possible. GST reports in remote access, Mr. Sankaran, as I told you, that is a challenge. In remote access, you may not be able to get the statutory module itself. So as of now, I think Tally does not have the feature. They are working on it. But what you can do is you can definitely go to the purchase register and sales register and export it on your own. Can the user and the remote user pass entries simultaneously? Yes, it is possible. Is it mandatory to clients Tally should be licensed? Yes. The person, whoever is having the Tally data, the original, okay, so here I'm not sure what Mr. Sanjeev is referring the context. Let me clarify it. Assuming you have, let us say, the Tally version or the Tally in the server computer, and the server computer is nothing but your office, your client's office, wherever it is. That is the original source. That is where the Tally data is, and that is where the Tally license is. That should be a original legitimate one. Whichever is accessing that can be an educational version. It will still work, no problem. Okay, can I share the PPT? I think this recording and other information will be available with Tally organizers. They will reach out. Okay. Only report can view from Tally solutions, or can you do entry also? Payal, I think I clarified this. As of now, only viewing of the report is possible. Data entry is not possible. I think the next release may very soon come up with that. Can we prepare sales invoice from browse feature? Printing of anything is possible, Mr. Veer, but if you are looking into making any data entry, is not possible. How many Tally.net owner ID can create on silver version? As I said, only one you can have. Multiple is not possible with a silver user. Which office version is best? So I'm not sure whether you're looking into which office version. When you say, are you looking into MS Office and related or Tally? I'm not sure. You can probably clarify that. It may become easier for me to address that. Mr. Ritesh is asking me this. If you're looking into Office, I think Office 365 is a wonderful tool. At a nominal price, you get some basic benefits. Alternatively, you can still go for Open Office application. The choice is yours. How to use as audit tool, I'll just come back to it. That is covered in my second part of the presentation. I will address that. Okay, next. Do we need to connect every company anytime? Mr. Nikhil, yes. Every company, every time you need to set up the connection. So the console will work on the server, because the way the model in which Tally works is a little different. compared to that of the cloud applications. So what happens over here is everything is loaded onto the server, right? Because it gives you utmost safety and security because it's at your place. So therefore, the tally file in your server or system that should be on, and for the tally server file you need to enable the username or password. At the same time, this tally file at this server and this company should be on, otherwise it is not possible. Is it necessary to keep the computer of the owner or when the staff is accessing at his residence? Is it necessary to keep the computer of the owner? Okay, I'm not sure how you are interpreting it. The computer should be on. Where it is on, it really doesn't matter. The server, wherever the data is, it should be on. I'll give an example. I know of a few CA firms, small firms, about 5 to 10 odd members only, 2 partners or 1 partner. During when the lockdown was announced, what they have done is they have just taken their server where all the data is, they took it and they came home. That's all. They said if I have the data in home, whatever I want I can do. I cannot go to my office, especially if you look into places like Mumbai or a few other places where there has been a heavy restriction. Even traveling is being government, because of course they want to contain the virus. So at this point of time, the best solution is, can I make it working remote? Yes. I'll also give a couple of tips on other tools which you can use. Give information on any tally rental, how many months it is available. So Payal is asking. Payal, as I clarified, tally rental is available based on the number of months you want it. So instead of showing it in theoretical format, let me show it to you live itself. Tally rental or tally solutions. When I go here, you have an option for tally rental. Correct? You have the product support, etc. Get the pack. This is for the free license, 30-day free license. You can go enter it. If you're already 30 days is expired, obviously it is not possible. And they talk about what all you can do. Correct? What happens after sign up? The procedure is fairly simple, not too complicated. Or you can sort of click on buy now. When you click on buy now, okay, so these are all few interesting features they've come up with. New license renewal upgrade. Now please see here, you have silver, gold. Correct? Here you have the perpetual license, here you have the rental license. So if you're buying a silver perpetual, it is 1,800. Only for updates you need to keep on paying, otherwise the license is permanent. If you want TSS, you need to obviously pay on a yearly basis. If you go for rental, for 1 month it is 600 rupees for a silver version. For a gold, I think a rental 1 month is 1,800. But I think gold may not help you out, because as of now all of us are working on remote basis, right? So you are nowhere, your LAN connections are nowhere connected, so obviously you would want to go for a single user edition. So that is something which I thought from a rental angle should be helping you out. So is there any more questions? Let me quickly see that, otherwise I think I've answered most of it. All right, it looks like I've answered most of it. Okay, now a few interesting solutions or alternate things which you can sort of work. So this is a tool called as Zoho Remotely, and this has one interesting feature where you can access, or it's called as a Zoho Assist. Probably that is a better word, Zoho Assist. Now this is basically quite similar to that of your AnyDesk or TeamViewer, etc., except for the fact it has one interesting feature. So let me quickly take you through that. Okay, and as of now they are giving it for free, at least for 1 month or 2 months. You can go and explore it. Now what this feature has is, now what this does, my dear friends, is it has an option called unattended access. Okay, so in unattended access, what I can do is, I have multiple systems of mine. I can click on any one of the system. For example, let's say the system 3 which I have. Now what I do is, all that I have to do is I click on connect. The moment I click on connect, what I've done is, the first time I have installed one small software in my system 3 or system 4, whichever you see on my screen. Okay, so what I've done is, I have enabled this setup where from my laptop I can connect to my system 3. So can you see here? I've actually I'm accessing my system 3. System 3 isn't, just for nomenclature I have put it so that it is easy for me to remember. So I just go here, I just enter my credentials. I just hit enter. Now look at this. I am sitting somewhere else. This is somewhere else. I'm able to access it thanks to the internet. All that I did was, I just downloaded a small file, and that is given the access. And it clearly says in this corner, if you see Zoho Assist, defined here, it says with my name. Now what happens is, assuming this is my server computer, whenever I want I can switch on, switch off thanks to this, correct? Of course, if you switch off physically, you need to switch it on. Can I sort of disable that feature also? It is possible. You have to do some bit of tweaking in your BIOS settings, etc., which I would not probably recommend. And this is called as unattended access, but only for a system which you trust. Please give this access. Don't give it for everybody, correct? So because anybody can have access, and you can also decide which user can have access. In my case, it gives me a report saying that I am accessing it, so on. So my colleague is accessing it. So some reports like this it will display. And if I'm done with it, I can just close this. Do you want to leave the session? Either I say okay, or I can just say lock the system. Sorry, I locked my system. Sorry. I can just go here and go just say as click on this icon and just say sleep. It'll just go into the sleep mode. So the remote computer is locked. So I'm done with it. So these are all simple things which are available in addition to whatever we normally call as AnyDesk and other things. So the features of this has some unique thing. AnyDesk also has got an unattended user, I think, access. You just have to explore it. I have not used that too much. So I think they have an option. I remember seeing it, yeah, set password for unattended access. So you can set it up and you have to do some bit of configuration. That is possible. So these are all add-on tips which can help you to increase the utility of the systems. Now what I will do is I'll come back to one topic which I wanted to cover. Depending on time, I said I'll cover. That is, how do I use remote audit in Tally? For that, my dear friends, the very important thing we need to ensure is go to company info, go to alter your company. Please ensure use audit Tally features is enabled as yes. If this is no, you cannot do it. Okay, so that is the first thing. The moment this is done, come back to the main screen. Whether it's in the primary system or remote system, it doesn't matter. You can definitely do this. Go to audit and compliance. There are 4 very, very interesting options which are available. Something which is definitely worthwhile, and especially for chartered accountants, auditors, when you're doing remote working, this is very, very handy. So how do you do it, or how do you get started with this? This is the documentation module. In this documentation module, you can design your entire audit program. Let us say I click my audit program and I have an option to set all this information. For example, I want to set alter client details. I say yes, I've written my name, assuming you are not the auditor, some other person is the auditor. You can configure all of this. Once this is done, you can also configure your audit team members. I've just, for simplicity sake, configured as Amar, Akbar and Anthony. Okay, my client data information is there. All this information is available. Now I can create my own audit program and checklist. Now, advantage of this is this brings in consistency and this brings in the documentation. Today, documentation of audit work papers is very, very critical. Why? The law is clearly saying that the onus is on the chartered accountant to prove that you have done the work in a professional manner. So therefore, documentation becomes very critical. So what is it that I can do? You can decide how you want it. For example, I want to have financial statements. For financial statements, let us say I'm going to take 5 days example. You have taken maybe 4 days, correct? Actually, I've taken 4 days. How much is the extent of verification? 100%, hypothetically, casting, whatever, etc. Now, verified by whom? I can create either a new person or I can create this thing. So let's say verified by Tally user, correct? And I just say end of list, verification remarks, error, reviewed by, I write my name, review remarks, submit to partner, discuss with client. So I write this and I can sort of keep on creating lists like this. Advantage for me is this becomes my so-called checklist. When I have this checklist ready with me, it is all the more easier for me to approach audit in an organized manner. And can I export this? The answer is 100% yes. You can go ahead and export this. Your entire work papers are ready. So this is on your audit documentation. Likewise, you can also prepare your audit report quite similar to this. Only thing is this audit report, you have to customize it. Go click on add detail. You can choose what you want. Okay. Once this is done, then you have Caro. Caro again is based on the old version of Caro. It may not be fully compatible, but definitely it has critical fields. You can always go ahead and pick it and just go ahead and explore. So you can say it is done, remarks looks okay, or verification in place. Correct. So I can talk about all this and keep a track of it. And of course, category by category, section by section, I can sort of export this as well. So loans, related party, internal control procedure, all of this is possible. Next is your accounting standard compliance. Say yes or no. This is just for a quick reference. Then standards of auditing, and this is your audit work papers. This talks about audit work papers at all levels. Overall level, where it is, what is the position, things like this, and various other reports, MSME, periodic payments, etc. Now these all depends on whether configurations have been made. If configuration is not made, then it becomes a challenge. Then comes this, which is a single most powerful function, audit and analysis. Yeah. So what happens in audit and analysis is it talks about multiple features which Tally has, which you and I may probably skip it if not it was given in such an organized manner. For example, verification of chart of accounts, one very powerful feature. It talks about how many ledgers are there in Tally, how many accounts have been squared off during there. What does mean by squared off? Debit is equal to credit. So I can simply go here and click, choose this ledger, and what does it say? It says that the debit is equivalent to the debit is equal to the credit. Correct. So many a times when we are reviewing the balance sheet of P&L account, these ledgers will not come to our insight, or we will not be able to look into it. Why? Because this will have a closing balance of 0, opening balance also 0. We may skip it. The only way we can verify these accounts are by ensuring opening balance is enabled, closing balance is enabled, transaction is enabled. In your trial balance, go one by one and review it. Here the advantage is the same thing is being given under different categories. So you can put accounts squared up during there, which are the ledgers which are not at all being used, which are the ledgers not at all being used. The most common ledger which is not being used itself is audit fee ledger, correct? On a jovial note. Ledgers which has only balances, no transactions. So if a debtor was appearing here, it means that we should probably look into the fact that can this be a bad debt? Have I lost out? And for business owners also, this is a very critical thing, because if you review these ledgers, you can understand, when I say use the word business owners, please understand, everybody has a different perspective of the data. Business owners want to optimize their profit. Obviously, they want to enforce controls. Auditors want to see whether it is compliant, no mischievous or fraudulent transactions have taken place. An accountant wants to ease out the burden. Each person have their own utility, correct? For all the purposes you can use this. So the question is how you want to use them, correct? Next is your land and building peripherals. So all these things, debit balance exists. That means only balance is there. There is no transaction. Quite possible. Definitely there are some number of ledgers like this. Next, very interesting case, revenue ledger having a opening balance. This could be possible because maybe that ledger nomenclature was changed. Look at this, prepaid insurance is being classified as indirect expenses, but there is an opening balance with this. So many times this happens. Accidentally we go and reclassify, which we are also not aware of. Then used only in the current year. These are all new ledgers which are used only in the current year. So you will find invariably all the ledgers being bucketed under this, so that you are in a better position, or you are in a good position for you to review all the ledgers. Second, stock items, on the same way you can look into it. Verification of balances. Now this is same like a trial balance, but you can add a flag. What is the flag you can add? You can just click on this and say, for example, unsecured loan. Click on this category and say on hold due to, or you can say cash in excess of limits under 269 SS, and so you can just probably flag this. You want to copy this in work paper, just keep this. So what happens? I'm just giving an example. I hope you're able to understand this. Yeah. So this makes it all the more easier for your documentation. And these are all not add-on modules which are required, inbuilt modules. Analytical procedures, ratios you can take, correct? You can compare group versus group, year versus year, etc., provided the data is in the same tally file. If you have other files, it may become a little challenging. So I can simply say compare group versus group, or I can simply say ledger versus group. Interest ledger, interest on OD divided by bank OD. So I can choose the period for which I want. So it gives me the ratio. Of course, here it gives me highly skewed that 83% is the interest rate. Maybe it may not be the truth. I have to go through this in depth and try to verify what is the reason and make it more correct. Next, some pending documentation. This also can appear. Statutory payments, as I told you, this can also throw up in this particular report. But again, it depends on whether these reports have been configured in your tab. Next, periodical payments and receipts. These are recurring items where you have on a monthly basis, yearly basis, all these things which are configured. So you'll find that they have 3 employees. So there is a reason why, there is a reason it comes as 3 times. Correct. So you have everything. Ajay, Mahesh, and Rahul. All these 3 people's information keeps on appearing every month. And then you have go down rent. Again, this appears every monthly basis. Correct. So this also can be looked into over here. Next. Next is a repeated transaction, quite similar to that. Here, most of the ledgers would fall under this. Wherever there is even more than one time repeated, it will typically fall under this. So you'll find a whole lot of these repeated transactions. For example, Kavita rent is appearing 18 times. So why would somebody pay rent 18 times? Correct? So you can go here, you can figure out. Maybe there is a debit, credit. So in that case, how many times is there? 18 divided by 2, 9 times. So how should you understand? 9 times means 9 months. So if you see, only from the month of June, they've started this. So therefore, it may look like, oh, it looks logical, etc. Next, relative size factor. This is something which is very, very powerful and my favorite. What relative size factor does is, it compares the ratio of the first highest number divided by the second highest number. I repeat, first highest number divided by the second highest number. Now, when it is doing the first highest divided by second highest number, you need to understand it gives you a ratio. Generally, whoever is a fraudster or if is doing any entry in an erroneous manner, fictitious manner, etc., they may pass an entry in such a way the gap between the highest and the second highest, they may not probably notice it. And this is one such method through which you can identify. Okay, so what do I do that? Let's take an example of over here, the repair which we spoke about. Earlier, we passed one entry, if you recollect. Let me see if I have this repair entry over here. Repairs and maintenance of machinery. I think that's the entry which I passed here. Please look into this. Okay. The first entry which I passed was 49,000. Second, or rather 49,000 already one entry was that. 99,000, this is the next entry. You can find a relative size factor of 2. Okay. But look on the other end. I have a relative size factor of 142. If I click on this, it says RSF is equal to how much? 99999 divided by 700, 142. So this may look actually suspicious. So need to discuss with client. Exceptional nature, I can write my remarks. Let's take one more classical case. This is an actual transaction which took place. My RSF is 75,000 and 5,600. The two what ledger? Electricity charges. So if I go through my electricity charges, most of which is 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 4,000. So it looks like these all things are legitimate. But if you see here, 7,500. So what are the possible issues? One, maybe 7,500 has been written as 75,000, or maybe the 75,000 was towards some other expenditure. Let's see what it is. What is the entry saying? Purchase of generator. So purchase of generator should ideally go to a capital expenditure. You can identify this. So whether you're an auditor or business owner, these are critical reports for you to go through it. And many of us today are talking about data analytics. This is what is data analytics: analyzing the data and identifying a pattern out of it. And this is an example of a pattern, correct? So like this, hundreds of things are possible. Other analysis, there's another interesting thing. Again, you have interbank cash withdrawal. I think highest and lowest transaction. Quite similar to RSF, but here difference is it takes the range. So it talks about highest and lowest. You can also, sort of configure it, ledger which range greater than, let's say, 100%. Okay, you can show ledger between all these filters you can show, and it is giving me all those ledgers which is more than 100%. Can you find this here? So all ledgers more than 100% deviation is appearing over here. So this is the way in which you can sort of quickly do the any sort of review. You can also sort it based on range decreasing. So can you find it over here? You get it on a highest basis 24.99 because the transaction over here is HDFC OD account. There's a 10 rupee transaction also, there's a 25 rupees transaction, 25 lakh transaction. So therefore it gives the variation as 2,49,000 or 25, 20, what is this percentage? Yeah, almost close to about 2 crore percentage. So that these things are possible, but I think what is critical is for us to pick up what are the key ledgers. So if we are able to do this, in a click of a button, immediately we'll be able to identify all this, and this way our audit process will also improvise, and as business owners you are able to get faster insights or quicker insights into your transactions. So I hope I've clarified on this piece of the cake with respect to your Tally as an audit tool. So what I think there are a couple of questions which is coming as how to use as audit tool. I just explained. If information Tally rental, give information on any Tally rental, how many months is available. I think I've taken you through that file. In trial, how many you can compare with another period. I'm not sure whether you're referring to a trial license. Trial license you cannot see, as long as data is available you can compare it. If you have 2 years, 1 year, I think normally 2 years is the default period you can compare. This is something which I thought I should mention to all of you, the feature of audit journal. Now what happens is many times we pass entries in our client's book for finalization purpose and we give the backup to the client. Client would have forgotten it and he would have already started doing the next year accounting, and the next year after that when you have to do the audit, your entire time goes in just reconciling the balances. So instead of doing all those jugaad or circus, why don't we come here and pass entries in this particular voucher? So you click on audit journal, all the journals which you pass will be tracked here. And here it will be mentioned with a flag called used for finalization. Say for example, air conditioner depreciation was missed out. So you pass an entry, AC depreciation. The moment you pass this, my dear friends, this is tracked and recorded. So you can just give your client, these are all the entries are passed, exported, they can quickly pass this. So this is an advantage of these statements. And for those of you, the client says that no, we will not give you edit access and etc. You can probably use this. And financial statements is nothing but what you normally do. So that's basically on a few things which I wanted to show from an audit angle. Now a few important points for business owners which you should be aware of. What are a few critical things? I'm sure most of us know these basic things: balance sheet, P&L, purchase, stocks, all of those. I'm not touching those important things, but what I will touch definitely is on the ratio analysis. This is something which is very critical for any sort of a business owner, and that you get it under the display option of ratio analysis. Beg your pardon. You will find it under reports tab, stock summary. After that, you'll have a ratio analysis. Now, this talks about critical ratios which are applicable. Now, if you have configured your Tally in a reasonable well manner, this can give you a lot of insights. Now, left hand side, what you see is the calculation. Right hand side, what you see is the ratio. Now, if you see the ratio over here, current asset to current liability ratio is 1.93, which is almost around 2:1. Generally, 2:1 is to some extent a workable ratio where your current assets and current liabilities are there. But when you go for a bank, what they will do is they will take up this particular calculation and they want to identify whether are you liquid enough. Okay, so you also have your debt equity ratio. So these all ratios are becoming very, very important. Point number one. Point number two, in today's world, especially during the COVID-19 crisis, there is a major challenge for all the clients is that cash flow. Can I recover my money quickly? At the same time, to my creditors, can I sort of, pay them by a deferred manner? So in that case, you are trying to play around with your current liability and current asset ratio, right? So for that, instead of bothering about all this, why don't you come here and just read this? Now, one more interesting challenge which many of them faces, business owners might think, hey, I don't understand all this, it is too complicated. I tell you one simple method. You are in the gateway of Tally, just press Control N. Automatically what happens? Calculator opens. So then the moment calculator opens, you will find this window over here. Let us say you want to identify the cash balance. So just type cash. It will tell you what is the closing balance of cash. If you want to know the capital, type capital, you will get the closing balance of capital. Let us say you're talking about current ratio. It is giving you a current ratio. So all these things in such a quick instance, it is giving you. So liquid ratio probably it is not able to understand because I think they use a different nomenclature here. What is the name? Okay, they use the word quick ratio. Can you find this? How quickly it is possible? So this is the SQL command window for Tally, where in that calculator you can enter all these instructions and so many such options are available. It's just the question of how you go ahead and explore or how you actually use them. That is something which you should be exposed to. And I'm sure last 2 to 3 days they discussed a lot about receivable management and payable management, so I don't want to spend time into it, but I hope you had an idea about it. So these are a few critical reports we should keep an eye on. The second thing which you should be aware of is Tally has an inbuilt feature called budget. A very powerful feature, very less often explored. Now what happens in a Tally budget is it allows you to keep this entire budget so that you can set limits and restrictions. Now what it does is here in your accounting features, you have an option called budget and scenario management. Just enable it as yes. The moment you enable it as yes, you can typically prepare budgets even at a ledger level, financial budget, actuals, and budget versus variance. It will give you in percentage terms also. Imagine how much of time it saves. Correct? As of now, today we do all of this in Excel spreadsheets. Why can't we configure that? And here, all that you have to do is you need to ensure your mapping of your ledgers are correct. That is a cleanup which all of us will have to do. The moment the ledger mapping is cleaned up, the rolling up is clear, your chart of accounts becomes solid. You can do so much amount of reporting by just looking into these numbers, and everything is available in a click of a button. Correct? So it's a question of how you configure that. Next, as a business owner, very important thing which you have to focus is on inventory, especially those either in manufacturing or in retail segment. I think these are few things which you have to focus on. Knowing your age of the stock, there are stock aging reports which are available. Correct? You can just go display based on age. You will realize which of your stock is not moving, and it is very important for you to liquidate that stock at the earliest by giving some amount of discount, cashback, whatever offers. Of course, unless it's a very valuable asset, you still believe that it can have a value, etc. So today we are talking about lower or shorter working capital cycle. So these all becomes important. Second, what is your current status of stock? You can quickly identify with that. What is the reorder level? How do I define that? What is the godown stock available? In my factory or in my other XYZ location, I can run various stock query reports. So these are a few features which are available in inventory, which business owners can probably explore. The next thing which you should focus is, I think I spoke about budget. The next thing which you should focus is about the cash. How much of cash is available, and very important, in that cash, how do you manage it? You need to understand your cash flows. You need to understand your budgets. Export that cash flow statement into a Excel, and all that you do is just to run a simple pivot. You get to know your entire flow of your cash flow up and downward movements. A very simple thing. Just export to Excel, insert pivot, just say debit credit date wise. So date bottom, it gives you an up and down information. So you get to know on a daily basis whether you have a positive balance or a negative balance. Forget that. Even Tally itself by default gives you towards the bottom a simple graph. Now these could give you a trend saying, okay, on these days I'm using more, on these dates I'm using less. How do I plan it? How do I forecast it? All those things are possible. The third thing which business owners which you should keep in mind is your configurations in Tally. Your configuration in Tally should be very strong and solid. Now many of us, for various reasons, our configuration in Tally is very weak, meaning You may or may not have implemented payroll module. Your GST configuration, if your GST configuration is rock solid in Tally, you can automatically do all your GST R2A reconciliation by just exporting Tally report, take another report and match it. The problem which we face is our GST configuration may or may not be strong and solid. There are empty number of blocks available. You can go read on how you have to make your GST configuration. The next thing which is related is income tax and TDS configuration. Recently, just about a week back, I think the finance minister announced the reduction of 25% on the TDS rates. So have you configured that? Those are the things which you should be looking into. And last, there are so many add-ons available for Tally. It could be in the form of add-ons, it could be in the form of TDLs, whatever name called. You can do a lot of real-time comparisons, correct? So you can do a lot of real-time reports. For example, let me just show you one add-on, which is my favorite. I like it a lot because it gives me reports in a click of a button the way I want it. Okay, so let me see if I can quickly show you an Excel spreadsheet just to give you an example of how these Tally add-ons look like. So I use a lot of analytical tools. This one tool is called as E2T TallySoft, which is used for entering data into Tally from Excel. I can push it to Tally. And there's another one which is called TCAT. From Tally, I can push it into Excel. So it's a Tally based CAT. So a simple thing I want is my daybook. And for the daybook, I want all the transactions. So I just go click on TCAT transactions. The moment I click it, it's obviously going to take a minute or two. It gives me this report. It says, hey, you know what is the beginning period of the financial year, end period. So let's say I choose, of course, Tally beginning period, it will by default choose today's date. So I'll just choose 01/04 and I'll say 2013. Great. Now, or rather I should choose 2012, correct? 31st March 2013. My entire daybook along with parent, primary group, and if I require opening balance and closing balance also, I can create, and it will also give me an option. Do you want all ledgers or only those which are greater than 0? So for simplicity's sake, because it may take a lot of time, I will just choose 1 month to run this. Okay, so let's say I choose 30th April, correct, 2012. Now the moment I choose this and I just say okay, all it is doing is it is running all of these days and it is extracting from Tally in a click of a button, and within a few minutes I will get this entire interactive report in a spreadsheet. So let's see how it looks like. Now what this can do is, these are the way in which I can improvise my productivity. Now look at this. Is there any way in Tally you want to verify your opening trial balance? All that you have to do is filter this, click on OB, your opening trial balance is ready. Your entire opening trial balance is ready, my dear friends. Of course, the profit or the stock configuration you have to look into it, correct? So your entire trial balance is ready. Now you want to look into my closing trial balance. All that you have to do is type closing trial balance and you have the transactions ready. Now, assuming you want to verify everything transaction wise, please go here. Just remove OB, just remove CB. This is your entire transactions for the month. And when you do this, don't you think in a click of a button you're able to get a lot of analysis? The answer is yes. Now, assuming you just want to analyze cash, so all that you do is type the ledger cash. You have your entire information on cash. Now you use a pivot table, a simple pivot table, correct? And just choose the name of the ledger. Choose the name of the ledger as, or you can probably choose the type of transaction. Sorry. Primary group I can just choose. I can put the ledger name here. I just choose cash. And there you go. I have the entire setup with me. Now, if you want the same thing date-wise, all that I do is take the date and put it over here. Okay, now I can decide what is the way in which I want to summarize this information, whether I wanted to have it in detail. A whole lot of these options are available. I can insert slicers. I just insert a slicer over here. I can just click on a slicer with name reference to party name, and I just say okay. Now it gives me all the cash transactions with respect to this. For example, AdView Consultants. Okay, there's nobody. Amar, there's nobody. ANS, nobody. Cash. There's so all these party names it can give me. Or if I want everything to appear, I can just ignore it and choose everything. So these are the powerful features which is available in Tally. All that you have to do is get the data to be exported. But the problem is, in the traditional way, if you try to export it, there are some limitations. You will not get it in such a user-friendly manner. And that is where you require certain tools like this. Correct? So that's one of the tools which I'm using. It's called a Tally based CAP. And then you have another tool called as E2TallySoft, which is again, Tally based add-on from Excel to Tally. It will push the data, where in a click of a button, all the data you can load it. Okay, so probably these are all add-ons which are available, so which will enhance the productivity. And when you do this, business owners can actually get to know, okay, real-time insights are possible. One more thing which you can also understand is you can configure this on a real-time basis. So how do I do it? Go to data, go to get data, go to other sources. You have an option called Microsoft Query. Under Microsoft Query, you have an option called Tally ODBC 900. So click on this, just say okay. Choose the ledger which you want. Correct? There's something called as a ledger table over here. So I go click on ledger, I just do right arrow, and here I just choose $parent. Correct? Oh, sorry, first is $name. I can choose what field in fact I want. Correct? So I can just choose, of course, all the fields also I can choose it, but only thing it becomes too much for Tally to handle. Okay, so many fields, they're roughly about I think 300 odd fields. So assuming I just do this next also, it becomes difficult for everything to be loaded in one shot. Let me give it a try. I'm not too sure. Let's say if I give this, normally it gives an error saying too many fields are there. So yeah, so output columns cannot exceed 255. That's the error which you will get. So what you can do in that case is you can probably clear everything. Do you want to continue editing? I just say no. Go back to our data tab, get data, other sources, Microsoft Query. From Microsoft Query, just choose Tally ODBC 9000. From there, choose the name of the ledger, and from there, choose $n name, then choose $p. I have to choose it 2 times or 3 times. Parent, and of course, we want the closing balance, $_closing balance. We can also insert transactions, etc. A lot of these things. I just click on next. Don't bother about anything. I just click on finish. It automatically loads the entire trial balances available here. All that I have to do is, refresh this every time I pass an entry in Tally. Automatically, the data will come here. Now you can prepare real-time analytics, real-time reports with this. This is the era which we are talking about, correct? So the question is your fundamental data recording, if it is correct. It's only you exploring and trying to come up with these solutions, and that is the key message which I want to sort of give it to you. The question is, Tally is such a powerful tool. It can do most of what your business owners wants. The question is, do you have the data capability in it? Have you entered it right? And second, the third, have you explored that? So if these 3 questions you're able to answer, I think my session would be fruitful. I'm extremely thankful for Tally for giving me this one more opportunity to share my thoughts. Open for questions. These are my contact coordinate details. I'm available on social media, LinkedIn, and that's my email ID.
We can take the remaining questions.
Sure. In trial, how can I compare with another period? You need to have a file. You need to have the data. If I'm presuming you're talking about the 30-day trial period. As long as you have data, you can go ahead and compare. There's no restriction. Remote login feature contain audit tools? Yes. So if you recollect, this is my remote login user. I hope you're able to see the screen. Can you find this? Can you also see here? This is my remote user. I have audit and compliance. But I think in the browser, I don't think it is there. The browser, I'm not too sure if this feature is available. Let me quickly check it. I don't think audit and compliance module is there in the browser edition. Okay, it's taking some time, but browser view, I don't think it is there. Okay, let's go to the next question. Can we segregate journal entries passed in finalization from normal one? Yes, there is a filter called finalization. You can go and filter it. Is it to be checked whether account created in proper group? Otherwise, ratio analysis will be wrong. Absolutely right, Mr. Sanjeev. What will happen is the entire thing depends upon your ratio analysis and how it is configured. If your ledgers, if your ratio analysis is purely based upon the group header, I'll give you one simple case. Okay, you will find it quite strange, but that is what happens. When I prepare a cash flow statement for a client, this is something which I did. The holding company is in a foreign country, and I had to prepare a MIS and we had to send it. We used Tally for that client. We did entire accounting and we sent it, and we sent the cash flow statement. And the client analyzed the cash flow statement, not the cash flow statement accounting standard 3, the cash flow statement by default, which comes under Tally. We just sent it. The client looked through the entire cash flow statement and said, boss, you don't even have salary payable, and it's an IT consulting company. So the question is, it's an IT company without salary, how can it work? So what we had done is, our salary entry was debit salary expenditure, credit salary payable. Where was salary payable categorized? Under current liabilities. Unfortunately, for one period, it was categorized under sundry creditors. So what happened in the cash flow statement? It used to appear that payment towards sundry creditors. It never appeared as payment towards employees. So this is the purpose of categorization. Very important. You need to understand categorization is crucial. Please explain audit trail in Tally. Audit trail in Tally to a limited extent only is possible, Monica. Like the features which I just told you, who has passed the entry, what it has passed, to some extent you can identify. Beyond that, there are some limitations, because you cannot get the entire trail or the history beyond a particular point in time. But you can figure out who's passed the entry, username and password. Sometimes you have to configure using additional TDLs, so that the security is taken care of. How can I get the video of setting a budget in Tally from Tally Solution? Payal, I think there is one link in Tally website. You can go there and read this up. Probably I'll just add it to my presentation also, so that it becomes a good reading for you. How do we get the Tally add-ons, Rahul Kumar? There are third-party solutions available for each of this. So whomever I mentioned in the report, for example, this ECAT and TCAT are all given by a company by name Mincer Infotech. You can probably go visit their website. You will get an idea. All right, so I think that's about with the questions. Oh, sorry, there's one more question which came up. I accidentally shut it. Sorry.
Yes, so the question is, please suggest TDL for audit trails.
Audit trails, I have not worked with any separate this thing. Maybe I will share it with the organizers, and probably they will reach out to you or they'll drop a message. Yeah, any more questions?
Yeah, so to the participants, if you have any further question, you can raise your hand so that you can ask the question directly. For the recorded session, people who are inquiring, so now today is the last session of the Tally Knowledge series. So we would we have the list of all the registrants. So we shall send via email all the links of YouTube of all the recorded sessions. So, and also since today is the last session, I would request you all to send your feedback in case any new topics which is required, so that we can keep in mind for our planning the next series of webinars. And to conclude, so I would like to thank Mr. Narasimhan Elangovan for the very important and enlightening session. That is work from anywhere today. Thank you, sir, and thank you to all the participants. So do write to us in case of any new topics are required or any feedback, so that we can improvise our next series. So thank you all. We will now be concluding.